Paul Hogan, what a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you, Adam. I'm sure it's a pleasure for you.
Now, I've got a lot of things that I want to ask you, and particularly about the new show.
Oh, yeah.
But I've got one question I've been wanting to ask you since I was about 11. Now, here's the thing. When I was 11, I wrote a sketch for my school production about a character called Super Norm. Had a big beer gut, and anyone that tried to shoot him, the bullets would bounce off the gut.
Right.
Now, not long after that, I was watching your show, and you had a similar character.
Donger?
Donger.
Or Super Dag.
It was Super Dag.
So you wrote that original... Someone gave that to me.
Really?
Had no name on it.
That's always been my question since I was 11.
Oh, congratulations. I suppose
Wow.
do I owe you money?
I'd always convinced myself that I had inspired that sketch.
Yeah, inspired it. Oh, you did. There you go.
Now, you're promoting a new show. It's called An Evening with Hogs.
Yes.
It's a live show.
Yep.
What drew you back to performing live?
I just got talked into it. And performing live is always the best and the worst anyway.
Yeah.
It's the worst because you think, you know, one joke will die and it's like someone stabbed you and, you know, I'm standing up here looking like an idiot and I thought it was funny and it wasn't, you know, it was all that pressure. But you say something funny, or you think it's funny, and everyone laughs and it's instant.
So how much of this new show have you prepared? It's touring in November, December. Where are you at as far as
it's easy.
it?
I've been working on it for like 40 years. I'm not telling any jokes. Like it says on the ad, I think, Harbour Bridge to Hollywood and everything in between.
Yeah.
That's when my life became really interesting and worth talking about. And having been the late starter, I mean, I didn't start in it till I was in my 30s. I made my first movie, I was like 47 or something. So
Right.
I consider myself to be an inspiration for slow learners or late starters. And I've just had extraordinary luck.
Now, what's the actual story? How did you get from the Harbour Bridge to New Faces?
I went on it to take the mickey out of it. I suddenly found myself standing in the wings at Channel 9 and being announced as a tap dancing knife thrower. Threw the knives away. There you go. Tap dancing knife throwing.
So what were your impressions of Hollywood when you first got there? You know, Crocodile Dundee, it's been this huge hit,
yeah.
And suddenly you end up in Hollywood dealing with producers and all that kind of life.
It was wonderful and weird at the same time. I had the rare and exotic thing of being the flavour of the month or flavour of the year almost for about a year.
Yeah.
And then it all, if you haven't sort of come out with another blockbuster, it's all over. You're forgotten. You know.
Now, when you first got to Hollywood, were you asked to do ridiculous things, you know, by producers that you just went, no, there's no way I'm going to do that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, and some good ones too. That would, if I had been an actor, you know, it's sort of, as I said, if I'd have been if I'd been like Chris Hemsworth, who's 29 or something.
Yeah.
He's got to watch what he does, how he can change him, how he can develop and all that sort of thing, because he doesn't want to be typecast. But you know, I was already 47 and I didn't care about being typecast. And it sort of, I made me movie, it was mine, I wrote it, I even designed the knife and so on and so forth, and it was #1 around the world. That's it. You can't top that because it's a Cinderella thing, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
First movie, first time director, first time producer, first time script writer, first time actors. To me, I've always said it's like going to the Olympics and saying, can I have a run 100, you know, in my jeans, and just roll them up barefoot and win the gold medal. It's the equivalent of that.
Yeah.
So nothing can top that after that.
And some people don't remember that you hosted the Oscars.
Yeah.
With Chevy Chase and Goldie Hawn.
Yep.
And I still think your Oscars, your opening speech is one of the best 5 or 6 minutes of comedy, of live comedy to an audience I've ever seen.
Oh, bless you, my son, you've got wonderful taste.
Oh, do you know what? I watched it again yesterday and it was everything I remembered of that. All the bits of you saying, you know, if you don't want to get up here and, you know, if you don't say I don't deserve this.
You exactly just hit the nail on the head. All I did on the Oscars, I just went on and said all the things that the punter at home is thinking when he watches those kind of shows.
Yeah.
And that was it. So it horrified some people in the audience and the rest of them loved it.
See, that for me, I think it does tap into exactly what you did in the early days, which is, if I may be so bold as to use this word, bullshitting.
Yeah.
It's the Australian way of just bullshitting your way onto a TV show, getting your way through it.
And never be sort of, you know, I performed for the Queen. I'd never be overawed or impressed by anyone.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just straight out.
Well, was that your character or was that you?
It was sort of me at 17. Hogs was saying, oh, I do that character Hogs. I think that was me, like 17, 18, knew everything, you know.
Right.
They had opinions on everything. And people used to say to me, now that you're doing this character, well, you're doing Hogan, you're on television with all these television people, do you worry about losing touch with the common man or what they're saying down at the pub? You're not down there on Friday listening to everyone's opinion. And I said, well, I never did listen to anyone's opinion. It was me down the pub sprouting my opinions. So nothing's changed. You know, I was the one that knew everything down there. So it didn't matter whether I went there or not.
So what did you want to be when you went over there?
I was just successful once.
Tick.
Yep, yeah, tick, did that. And it was also surreal and absurd that there was sort of like, I didn't care if that was the end of it. In fact, John at one stage said, you know, he said, let's never make another movie. He said, and then you'll be like, what's the name of that guy that wrote Catcher in the Rye?
Salinger, J.D. Salinger.
Yeah, J.D. Salinger. Wrote one huge best and never wrote another book. And then we thought about it for a while, yeah. And went to Hollywood, made one big movie, and then walked away. But we got bored. And my older son kept nagging me about it. He had some good ideas for Croc too.
Right.
He kept nagging me long enough that I ended up going, okay. Yeah.
So that leads me to another question. That do you think you've not been lauded as much in Australia as possibly you should be? I mean, I know it's hard for you to answer that, but...
I hope not to be lauded in Australia, because that's sort of, this is what we do. You know, keep your feet on the ground. And I don't think I've needed it, to keep my feet, because they've always been on the ground.
Yeah.
And I appreciated what I did. I never thought I was anything special. I thought I had a gift. I didn't know I had it, didn't find it until I was 30. But that everything I thought was funny, so did most other people. So I'd spent the first 30 years entertaining myself. And I found that I could make people laugh and forget their woes and all that sort of thing. It was a great gift. And I just got extraordinarily lucky with the timing. So I enjoyed everything as it happened.
Yeah.
And I had a wonderful time at the Oscars, and I sort of like, Dustin Hoffman leading me around to meet Liz Taylor, and Liz Taylor wrapping her arms. I thought, Jesus.
So it seems that the American dream is...
Oh, well, just a minute, Adam. There's half of my material gone from my live show. Nothing else happened in my life.
Now, in amongst all of that, what has been the moment that you just go, I just can't believe this is going on, this is ridiculous?
Sitting between Charles and Princess Diana in the theatre watching Croc 2, and with Diana next to me, with her feet up on the seat in front, and digging me with her elbow every time she saw something funny, and Charles on the other side, who loved it, and laughed like a drain, and of course whenever Charles laughed, everyone around had to laugh. That was surreal. Sitting there, that was... There's been others, but that's one that immediately comes to mind. I thought, you know, it's like, don't they know I'm a rigger?
And look, my final question for you is, out of all the things that you've done, what's the one quote of yours that is said to you most often?
Oh, you know what it is, don't you?
The knife?
Everyone knows what it is.
Yeah.
And everyone's, God bless them, everyone says, they think it's the first time I've heard it. They all have that look on their face. And I'm saying, yeah, you hear what I said to him? That's not a knife, that's a knife. Every chef in every restaurant in the world has come out from the kitchen when they know I'm there. Like, that's not a knife, and with meat cleavers and all that thing. But Clint Eastwood said it to me. And then he said, and now you know what I have to put up with. He's been having go ahead, make my day. For, you know, for like 40 years. And everyone looks like, yeah, God, I said to him, go ahead, make my day.
Well, listen, you know, as a comedian, you were one of the people that inspired me when I was a kid.
Cool.
It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Excellent.
Can't wait to see the live show around Australia. And thanks for letting me know that I inspired one of your characters.
Lovely. The check's in the mail.